All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to an extra SROS video. Today, we are doing a tier list. Now, over on my NFL channel, I've been doing this with every single position as of late, but in the NBA, it's pretty much positionless. So what we're doing today is a franchise superstar number one option tier list, basically going through all 30 NBA teams and just kind of bringing up to the discussion, can this guy be their number one day? Can they be their franchise star? So we are basically going through, like I said, all 30 teams. Also think of this as the team's logo, not just the player, but I think it's also interesting and easier to visualize the player in the tier list rather than just having the logo instead. So for most of these teams, it's pretty much easy to figure out who their franchise star is right now. I think there's a couple debatable ones. So for the Houston Rockets, you could definitely say Kevin Durant is better than Alperen Sengun right now, and I'm not really going to disagree with you. It's just Sengun is so close to KD. Like, I think they're like 3 spots apart on my recent top 25 list I did on my SROS channel. And Sengun is how many years younger? A decade plus younger than Kevin Durant. I thought that was a no-brainer to put Sengun there instead. For the Kings, I went Sabonis. I think he's clearly their most valuable player right now, at least in terms of talent and still a long-term outlook. I don't think like Keegan Murray has even that high-end discussion. Like, it would be an easy no for that one. I mean, Jason Tatum for the Celtics, I still ended up going with instead of Jaylen Brown. I went with Paolo Banchero for the Orlando Magic. You may think it's Franz Wagner. I went with Jalen Johnson over Trae Young. I think the torch has been passed, and with Trae Young having like a year left, I feel like Jalen Johnson is their number one. I went with Markkanen over Keontae George, but you could definitely say this could end up being Keontae. And then I think everything else was fairly easy. I went with Giddey over Buzelis. I went with Zion over Queen. I just feel like Queen hasn't shown enough just because he's a rookie, so he hasn't been able to show enough. And I don't know if Queen is in that conversation. I went with actually Cooper Flagg over Anthony Davis because Cooper Flagg is, I still think, in another echelon than Derek Queen. So let's get into this. You'll kind of get the gist of it as we go across as well. So Alex Sarr looks great here in year number 2. He just had like 6 blocks the other night. I loved him. You guys know that coming out of the 2024 draft. I really enjoyed his tape at Perth and saw the upside in him, and it was a risk, and I think we're seeing him kind of mold into that guy that could be maybe a 2 to 3 block guy a night one day. He could shoot mid-30s from 3, which gives him another layer to his game, and is just being a little bit more touched around the rim, and is also a very good ball handler for somebody that's 7 foot tall. I don't think he's ever going to be a number 1, though. I would be insanely shocked if he turned into like a Wemby type player with his size and with his shooting ability. I think, though, he could be a high-end number 2. Like this TBD, I guess maybe I could throw in here, because I should go through these tiers actually. Franchise superstar, like, you are a number 1 option. You are a franchise superstar. I think you can win a title as a number 1 right now. For now, like, you are their number 1, but I also, that kind of goes into the team aspect we're talking about. Maybe you don't have that many years on your contract. Maybe you're getting older. That's what that tier is. TBD, I think I just need to see a little bit more time, but I think it's in there. High-end number 2, we've either seen enough or I think I know enough where I don't think you're going to be a good number 1 one day, but you could be that number 2. Was once a number 1, but not anymore. So they're kind of on the decline in terms of their value in the league, and then need to look elsewhere completely, which these two can kind of go hand in hand in a way. And maybe I'll end up consolidating the 2 tiers at the end of this. So we'll go to Alperen Sengun next. Do I think Alperen Sengun can be a number 1 on a title team? I think I'm TBD on it. I think he's got way more higher upside, or he's got higher upside than Alex Sarr. What he could do as an offensive engine is incredible, but can he get into that Jokic tier, right? Can he, I'm not saying he needs to be Jokic, right? And average a 30-point triple-double, but can he be maybe what we thought Domantas Sabonis could be after like the 2023 season with the Kings? And can he level up into somebody that can go get the ball in crunch time? I think he's a better ball handler, and I think a little bit more aggressive than Sabonis as well. Their passing is, I think, pretty even in a way. It's just Sengun has the age on his side, where I think maybe playing with KD this young in his career can really mold him into that franchise superstar. So I know we've seen plenty of Sengun, but we've only seen 1 playoff series from him, and that was last year against the Warriors, in which he wasn't the best in. But obviously, the veteran core, I mean, you have Dylan Brooks, you had Fred VanVleet, but I feel like him and Jalen Green didn't really know what to do in crunch time. We'll see if playing with Kevin Durant helps him this year. And they're going to be playing in big-time playoff games this year because the Rockets have like the 2nd best net rating in the NBA. Anthony Edwards. Probably need to look. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is a franchise superstar. He just went to back-to-back conference finals with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think throughout the next 10 years, Anthony Edwards will probably ever have the luxury with playing somebody that's better than him. Something crazy would have to happen. I don't know if Minnesota would have to make the most lucky like trade, like Luka Doncic type trade. They may make a lucky draft pick, drafting like the next Giannis or Jokic outside the lottery, possibly. But I think Anthony Edwards can be a number one on a title team, and we've seen him be the number one on 2 conference finals teams, but the team and ecosystem needs to be in place around him. It's so tough too in the modern NBA where you can carry your team even though you're a top 3 guy in the NBA. Like Jokic, been a top guy in the NBA, has not made it to the finals or the conference finals since they won it all in 2023. Giannis has not been to the conference finals since 2021. Shea has the best ecosystem and supporting cast in the league right now, so he's kind of in a different tier. But like Luka, we've seen Luka be, it feels like, the best player in the world, and he brought the Mavericks to the finals in 2024. But when is the next time Luka's going to be back to the NBA finals, right? It's incredibly tough. Ant, though, is a franchise superstar. You don't have to worry about it. Number 1 overall pick. You can't teach his competitive gene whatsoever. For Cade, like, yeah, you might say you need to put him in the TBD tier just because we've also only seen 1 playoff series from Cade. I view Cade and Şengün in a different tier, in my opinion. I mean, I always had Cade as my number 1 prospect in the draft. Not a hot take, but I think it was a hot take to always have him number 1 in a redraft. I never saw, like, not enough for Cade Cunningham to say that Şengün or Scotty or Franz or anybody else is better in that tier 1. And I think Cade Cunningham can be their number 1. He's not playing like a bum. I just think of when I'm saying number 1, the Cam Newton clip. But Cade, I would say, is a franchise superstar. He's still incredibly young. Like, he's roughly the same age as Şengün. I just think Cade's playstyle in the playoffs will play. I mean, he looked better against the Knicks than I would say Şengün did against the Warriors. Not by much, but did look better. I just think Cade's playstyle will can be a number 1 in the playoffs. I'm just still waiting to see, because can Şengün be closer to Jokic, or is he going to be closer to Sabonis? We're going to have to wait and see. Cooper Flag, like, I think he does have the ceiling of a number 1, but once again, he's just turned 19 years old. He's played 30 games in his career. TBD. If this was Anthony Edwards or Kyrie Irving, they'd probably be in this tier. They'd probably be like, I'd probably put Kyrie in this tier and Anthony Davis in this tier. But Cooper Flag, I think, is their most intriguing long-term asset, and he has way more franchise superstar potential at 19 than Kyrie does at 32, or Anthony Davis, or Kyrie at 33, Anthony Davis at 32. So I don't think we're going to see Cooper Flag's first playoff series this year, unless Dallas really turns it around. But they might trade Anthony Davis. Kyrie might not come back till like late February, and we'll see where this team goes. They don't own their first round pick next year, so it's probably smart, or like direct access to it. So it's probably smart for them to end up missing out on the playoffs right now and maybe get a nice young asset next to Cooper Flag long term. But yeah, I think just because of their play styles and like the prospect pedigree, I think Cooper Flag will be better as a number 1 option one day from Şengün, but we're still years from that. Denny, like, you could put Denny in TBD. We haven't seen Denny play a playoff series yet, and you could make an argument that Denny is better than Şengün. You could make an argument. I wouldn't say so. I feel like Denny, though, is going to be a high-end number 2, his play style. I mean, Denny's whistle this year has been incredible. He's getting, like, as many free throws as some of the top guys in the NBA. Denny's also been great as a downhill attacker, somebody in transition, but he's also putting up these numbers, and the Blazers haven't really been good. Now, the Blazers haven't been good because Klingen's missed some time, Drew Holiday's missed some time, $15 million going to Damian Lillard is not helping him out this year. Scoot hasn't played a single game yet this season. I guess I could throw him in TBD, but I think I'm going to put him in high-end number 2. I like... Denny is better than Cooper Flag right now. Denny's better than Alex Sarr right now. But I think when we get to it, they're going to need to find somebody better than Denny going forward. Like Damian Lillard at his peak, maybe I would have had in this tier as well as high-end number 2. It also doesn't help that he's playing in the Western Conference too. Domantas Sabonis, you need to look elsewhere. I don't even think Domantas Sabonis was ever a number 1. He wasn't a number 1 in Indy. He was never a number 1 in Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox. He's technically a number 1 now, but even like, so you could say Zach LaVine has been their number 1. The Sacramento Kings need to find their franchise star elsewhere, and it's probably not going to become via free agency. I doubt it comes via trade, unless they find the next Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's probably going to have to come via the draft, and this year is their best chance, as the Kings are not good this year, and they don't look good whatsoever. Sabonis and LaVine are currently hurt, and maybe they look into Debanza, Peterson, or Boozer. Donovan Mitchell. You know what's crazy? I'm going to put him in... Oh, man. I don't want to put high-end 2. But Donovan Mitchell has yet to make it to a conference finals. And he was drafted back in 2017. Like, Anthony Edwards has made 2 more conference finals than Mitchell, and Mitchell had a 3-year head start. And Mitchell's been a part of, like, a good team pretty much every year of his career. I forget how the 2018 Jazz were, but he was a rookie. He's made the playoffs, I think, every year of his career because he was a rookie when he beat Melo, Russ, and Paul George, I believe, in the playoffs. I'll say for now, because one, Donovan Mitchell has 2 years left on the deal. If Evan Mobley was here, I'd probably put him in high-end number 2, but I don't know if I want to put one Donovan Mitchell in this tier because of the contract situation, and who knows, maybe they're going to re-sign him because he could be a free agent in 2027, which, hey, still another year after this year under the belt. But the fact that his 2 years in Cleveland, now 3 years in Cleveland, and one playoff series win, or 2 playoff series win. They beat Miami last year, lost to Indy, could say because of injuries. They beat Orlando, lost to Boston. You could say because of injuries, but I think Boston was beating them even if they were at full strength. It was really shocking when the Knicks beat them in round number 1. Nobody thought the Knicks were going to beat them in that series. I'll say for now, though, because I'm not fully set on, 1, he's going to be here for the next 5+ years like these guys, and 2, he's not really proved it as much. But I think he's good enough to be a number 1. He's not been playing like a bum. It's just like you watch him on Christmas Day have this monster game against the New York Knicks at MSG, posterize OG, hit that like almost, or that 50-foot 3 it felt like, to make the game like what, a 2-point game or something like that. But yeah, for now I'll say I don't know if I want to put him in TBD because he's like so much older than these 2 guys. Giannis, this is the easiest for now because remember, I'm not doing just Giannis and Mitchell, I'm doing the Cavs and the Bucks, and Giannis is obviously a franchise superstar. He's a finals MVP. He's a multiple-time MVP. He's been top 3 in MVP, top 4 in MVP for the last like decade, it feels like now, but is he going to be on this team next year? He's a free agent. At the same time, Donovan Mitchell can be one in 2027. So that's why I'm putting the Bucks franchise superstar. Do you have it? You do. But for now, and the Bucks haven't really been a great team this year when Giannis has been off the court. I don't know if Giannis wants a trade. Who the hell knows at this point? It feels like we get a different rumor every week. Are these fabricated? Are these real? And then they shoot it down because they don't want to have the locker room start to get dysfunctional. I don't know. I'm going to also say until Giannis signs that extension with them by next October, I'm putting him in for now. Jalen Brunson. I can't see him ever leaving the Knicks. Oh man, you guys are going to think I'm biased, but I'm putting him in franchise superstar. So is Giannis better than Brunson? Yes, 100%. Is Brunson the 3rd best player we've talked about? Also, yes. I think he's better than Cade until maybe Cade goes further in the playoffs. But I think Cade has a higher ceiling than maybe what Brunson is right now. Giannis is better and Anthony Edwards is better in my opinion. I think Brunson is better than Donovan Mitchell. Brunson has brought the Knicks to the recent conference finals. He's never really had a bad playoff series for the Knicks. Like, Brunson's playoff numbers are actually ridiculous. Like, we know he was great in that round 1 series against the Jazz in 2022, and he kind of helps Luka go to the finals in 2020, or conference finals in 2022, but he averages 24 against the Cavs, against Donovan Mitchell, 31 against the Heat. Randall and Barrett were awful in that series. 35 points against the 76ers in round 1. 29.7 points against the Pacers in round number 2. Also no Julius Randle for these series. 31 points against the Pistons last year. 26 against Boston. 30 against Indiana. Like, he could be a number 1 option in my opinion on a finals team. I thought the Knicks should have beat the Pacers last year, and who knows, like game 1, they don't have that historic collapse. Maybe that series is completely different. Who knows at that point? Because then you're playing game 6. I mean, you're playing game 6, what, down 2 to, or you could be up 3-2. Technically. I mean, you were down 3-1 at that point, then you made it 3-2. Either way, like I said, I want to reiterate, if you're going to the comments saying, how do you have Brunson a tier higher than Giannis? It's also the Knicks versus Giannis. Brunson's under contract for the next few years. He's brought the Knicks to the conference finals, and Giannis can be a free agent, and the Bucks aren't good right now. So I do think Brunson can be a number 1 on a title team. Can be. Will it happen? We still have to see. You obviously have more patience with Ant and Cade, given that they're a decent amount younger than Brunson. Like, Brunson is 29 years old, like still youngish in a way, but are we at the peak of his powers? He's still, I think, maybe the clutchest player in the NBA, up there with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the moment. Jason Tatum, he's your franchise superstar. I mean, right now you can put Jaylen Brown, the same thing, like we're talking about the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum was the best player on a finals team in 2024 when they won it all. He went to the finals in 2022. He's been to so many conference finals. Now, was Jason Tatum the best player in that series? You could say it was Jaylen Brown, who obviously won finals MVP for sure. But Tatum is a top 5, top 6 player in the NBA. If you want to dock it a little bit because of the Achilles tear, okay. A little scary. TBD, maybe you want to drop it a little bit. I still think he's got the track record, and When he's healthy, he's the second best player in this list so far, only behind Giannis, in my opinion. Jalen Johnson. Oh, boy, this one's tough. Do I think Jalen Johnson has any different of a ceiling than Denny of Diak? Because they're kind of similar in some ways. I think Denny's a slightly better defender than Jalen Johnson, although they're both not great. As much as I like Jalen Johnson this year, I would be incredibly shocked if he ever turned into a number one on a finals team or a conference finals team. I don't know if it's got to be like a Chris Paul type player, like a good enough defender, but also like Trae Young that can play some defense in a way. So like, Tyrese Halliburton's not the greatest defender. I don't know. 9 assists per game guys that play good defense do not grow on trees. So we'll see if he ever gets to play with somebody there. It looks like they're going to lose Trae Young. Like if Trae Young was here in this tier list, I'd probably put him in this tier, like was once a number one after 2021 going to the conference finals. But I do think Johnson has a lower ceiling than Flag and Şengün when you're talking about getting deep into the playoffs. You could disagree. I mean, a high end number 2 is really good, but we'll have to wait and see going forward. He's never he's played in a playoff series, but never really been involved in like a serious rotation in a playoff series. Luka, I mean, I got to put him in franchise superstar. I know we're kind of like in the dog days of Luka in LA right now, where it's just like a bunch of like heliocentric basketball. It's not resulting in wins. I mean, this Lakers team isn't great outside. Like, they're very top heavy with LeBron, Reeves, and Luka. And now that Reeves is hurt, they haven't been playing great basketball as of late, but he brought the Mavericks to the finals in 24. He brought them to the conference finals in 2022. I still think he's the 4th best player in the NBA, and he's 26, 27 years old. So yeah, the Lakers have their franchise superstar. I'm sorry, Mavericks fans, for having him still in that Mavericks jersey. Michael Porter Jr., I don't think he was ever number 1. They're going to need to look elsewhere. Michael Porter Jr. could be maybe a high-end number 2. So that might be disrespectful. But I'm also talking about the Brooklyn Nets here, not just specifically Michael Porter Jr., who could be traded in 3 weeks. And then now we're talking about their most valuable asset being maybe Jonathan Kuminga, maybe somebody they get back in the trade, a Jaden Ivey, who knows where he gets traded to. Or it could end up being like Yegor Dorman, who I don't think could be a number 1 or maybe a high-end 2 yet. Like, we still have to wait and see. Been a good 3-point shooting rookie, though. I would say the Nets are going to need to look elsewhere to find their franchise star. And because I'm taking contract and stuff into situation, and I can see Michael Porter Jr. getting traded. Ooh, Paolo Banchero. So yeah, like I said, this could be Franz Wagner, which I think would go in this tier. Like, very similar to Denny and Jalen Johnson. I might drop Paolo a tier. Like, was once a number 1, not anymore. I think he could be a high-end 2 still. I feel like going into this year, I think I could have had him here. Probably here, though, and you could put him here. It's just been such a disappointing and underwhelming start to the season. He's not being respected as a shooter. He's been one of the worst high-volume shooters in the NBA. He's like the 46th highest scorer in the NBA. He's barely eclipsing 20 points per game. The clutch numbers have been abysmal. Like I said, he's not knocking down any mid-range shots, 3-point shots. He's not playing like somebody that's almost 6'10". That max extension hasn't hit yet. It will next year. Right now, I mean, this might be generous to say that his ceiling is a high-end number 2. So you might put Franz Wagner here, and that's fine with me. If Franz was here, I still think he would be in this tier. Like, if you're saying, I'm still like buying the dip a little bit on Paolo. He needs a different shooting coach in the offseason. Like, we've seen plenty of guys in NBA history fix their jumper. Like, Scotty Barnes, watch his jumper at Florida State. It was not good. And the guy turned into a good shooter. Maybe it's tougher for some guy to figure out, like, tweaking their mechanics when they get to the league, because Scotty's like a young guy, so he's probably going to listen to anybody in that Raptors development system. Now, Paolo's got the max contract under his belt. Does the confidence go up? Does he get conservative and be like, I don't want to change what I'm doing. I just got a max contract doing what I was doing. So we'll see. But yeah, I would say going into this year, I would have had Paolo here because I'm like, okay, I could see the number 1, like, franchise guy, number 1 option in the playoffs potential. He was drafted number 1 for a reason. But now I'm dropping him to this tier. I think Franz would be in this tier as well. Maybe you could put Franz in this tier, but I'm going to put Paolo there. Halliburton, franchise star. Which is crazy. Now, once again, the Achilles injury is a little bit scary. How is he going to look, right? Is he going to lose a step? Is he not going to be able to get to the rim with ease? How's the jumper going to look? But he just brought the Pacers to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. As close as you can get. Like, he's been closer to winning an NBA Finals than everybody here but Jason Tatum. Like, Cade and Brunson have never been to a Finals. And Luka Doncic lost to Boston in 5. So yeah, Halliburton is going in franchise superstar. I'm not ranking these guys in this tier, but I do think like he could be a number 1. And the league is as talented as ever. Bam Adebayo. Oh boy. It's not here. It's like, does Miami need to look elsewhere? I don't even know if we ever considered Bam a number 1 because it's always been Jimmy Butler pretty much. Like, Bam's rookie year was 2018. They get They get Jimmy Butler in the offseason of 2019. Shout out Josh Richardson. And Bam wasn't like a number 1 then. Do I think Bam could be a high-end number 2? You know what? Yeah, like I guess he's been a high-end number 2 on a couple finals teams. Like he was a high-end 2 in 2020. He was a high-end 2 in 2023. So I'm going to give Bam his respect, I think. I'm going to throw him in this tier. Because I think you will, like if I said to a Wizards fan, Alex Sarr will be as good as Bam Adebayo was in like 2023 or right now, I think you take that. Tyrese Maxey, like, can he reach the levels of Jalen Brunson in the playoffs? I don't know if it's going to happen in Philly. I went with Maxey over Embiid because of the health, and I think Maxey's maybe surpassed Embiid this year. You could throw him in TBD, because who's to say that he can't be as high leverage of a scorer as like Anthony Edwards in the playoffs? He's not as good of a defender as Ant or Cade. Brunson has the track record than Maxey, but I think Brunson's also had the benefit of playing with a really good team compared to Maxey, where his star players and highest paid players haven't been out there. I think Maxey could be a high-end number 2. I don't know if it's like Damian. I think like maybe Damian Lillard like peak Damian Lillard in Portland, number 2. I'm trying to think of like the best number 2s. Like you're talking about Klay Thompsons of the world. You're talking about like a Kyle Lowry of the world who won in 2019. You're talking about Jamal Murray. Like, yeah, I think Maxey like 2023 Nuggets. You're talking about Chris Middleton on 2021 Bucks. I think I feel more comfortable about Maxey as a high-end 2 than a number 1. Steph, obviously your franchise number 1 for now. He's going to be a Warrior for life. It's just, when is he going to retire? He's still playing like a number 1. It's just, can the Warriors be good enough around him? So that's why I'm going to have him in there, as Curry's 38 years old. Yeah. I have actually on my SROS channel my top 30 players for 2026 that I made back in 2021 video coming out today. And I'm going to be reacting to it. And I wonder if I have Curry in there. Zion, yeah, you could put him in this tier, or you could put in this tier. He was once their number 1, was once their franchise superstar, not anymore. I just don't like, will Derek Queen ever be as good as what we've seen from Zion at his peak? I can't say that with certainty. Derek Queen looks great this year, but it's still wait and see. You could also put Trey Murphy here as well. I think there's a bunch of different Pelicans you could put. And I think if you put Trey Murphy, you could have him here. But I'm going to put Zion Williamson there. Wemby, franchise superstar. I know he hasn't played a playoff series yet. Everybody else we've talked about has played a playoff series. But look at Wemby. He's 7'6". He's the best defender in the NBA. He's kind of not single-handedly, but he's beaten the Thunder 3 times this month. And the Spurs are going to make the playoffs this year. He can average 25, 13, 4 assists, shoot 37% from 3, and average 3.5 blocks a night. He's, like I said, the best defender in the sport as well. And I am so excited to see Wemby in a playoff series this year. LaMelo, yeah, you were once a number 1, not anymore. I've also never seen LaMelo, like Zion, play in a playoff series. Now, the Pelicans have made the playoffs in the Zion Williamson era. He's just never been healthy for it. The Hornets have just flat out never made the playoffs with LaMelo Ball going into year number, what? 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, going to year number 6. Maybe it happens this year, probably not. But I don't think they could look at him as a number 1. Maybe Con Knipple is that guy, and then maybe we plug Con here. Lauri Markkanen, you need to look elsewhere. Maybe Markkanen has technically been their number 1. Maybe if you put Keontae George here, I can't put him that, like, I think Keontae is going to be a number 1 yet. It's just been too small of a sample size in the breakout year, although he does look like a most improved guy. Maybe you would put Keontae here, but I think for the Jazz, if they're ever going to reach the peak of their powers, they do need Keontae George to be like a Donovan Mitchell-esque guy in the playoffs for them, or at least the regular season. And you have to have the ecosystem around him. But I think it might come in the lottery this year. It might come via a trade. I don't know. Ryan Smith feel like he's made the Jazz more glamorous, even though they've been bad ever since he's been an owner, because they've been in the rebuild. Maybe they're able to convince a star one day. Maybe they can do some aspiration nonsense out there. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to throw Market in and need to look elsewhere. Ja, this is an easy one as well. I mean, Ja's peak as a number 1 was probably in 2022, where he beat Minnesota in round number 1. His only playoff series win. Then they got cocky, lost to the Warriors in round 2. 2023, they're a 2 seed. But then they lose to the 7 seed Lakers, and they haven't made it, or they don't make it to the playoffs in 24. They make it to the playoffs in 25, but they get blown out by the Thunder. Although Ja was playing good in that game 3, in which he got hurt. I don't think Ja could be a high end, like a number 1. Could he be a high end 2? Maybe. Like Zion, I can't trust to be a high end 2 because the injuries. LaMelo, injuries, way too volatile. Kind of same thing with Ja Morant right now. Like, would he even be okay as a number 2 in that role? Kawhi Leonard, I'm actually putting him in for now because Kawhi Leonard is still playing like a number 1 option and your franchise star, but you have 2 years left on the deal. Maybe similar to Giannis. He's played like a top 15 guy this year. He's had a very like, he's got a strong playoff track record as well, which is a benefit for him. So yeah, like, Donovan Mitchell is the youngest guy here. Like, these two are a little bit older. It's just like, I need to see it. Like, these guys have all won an NBA Finals, all have a Finals MVP. Donovan Mitchell has yet to make it to a conference finals. Devin Booker. Whew. So he made it to the NBA Finals as the #1 scoring option with the Suns in 21. The Suns were the best regular season team in 22. Do I put Devin Booker here? I'm going to put Devin Booker similar to Donovan Mitchell. Devin Booker hasn't been great this year, although the Suns have been good. And it was kind of a mess with KD and Bradley Beal. I'm going to put for now. As he's getting older, though, he's probably going to drop to this tier, and it's maybe closer to Tyrese Maxey than we think. Oh, man. Dude, the Suns have their franchise star. Yes, right? They do in Devin Booker. And he's had good playoff series. Has he, though? It's been volatile with Booker in the playoffs. I'm going to put him here, but I feel bad about it. I don't feel comfortable about it. Shea, I don't know. Like, if you take him out of OKC, I think I got to wait. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Shea is franchise superstar. I think he's the second best player in the NBA behind Jokic. He's the reigning MVP, Finals champion. With the injury to Jokic, there's a clear path for Shea to go back-to-back in MVPs moving forward. For Scotty, do I think Scotty could be a #1 offensively in the playoffs? TBD, maybe. I'm going to put Scotty in this tier. I think he might be closer to Jalen Johnson. I think Şengün just has another level to him offensively, and I love Scotty's defense this year. He's an all-defensive first-team guy right now. Might finish runner-up to Wemby and DPOY voting, but I don't know if he could be a #1. We'll see it this year. I think the Raptors are going to make the playoffs. That's for sure. Josh Giddey, I think he can actually be a pretty good player in the playoffs outside of OKC. I don't think he was ever a #1. I guess he technically was. No, the 2022 Thunder were always Shea's team. So yeah, the Bulls need to look elsewhere. If you want to have Buzelis here, like maybe Buzelis' ceiling's in #2. But I'm going to have Josh Giddey need to look elsewhere. I guess maybe Washington, I'm going to have to need to look elsewhere as well. Like sometimes these don't make sense. High in #2. Maybe Porter. It's also me talking about the team, I should say. Because yes, Michael Porter Jr. could be a high end too, I think, but like what's his future on the Nets? Can get traded. Giddey, the Bulls are going to have to either actually bottom out. We'll see. Giddey is hurt right now. Maybe they lose some more games. Maybe they sell at the deadline, or maybe they can convince somebody to Chicago. They haven't done that in a minute. Like, what was their biggest free agency signing? DeRozan, Carlos Boozer, Lonzo Ball? Like, not really difference makers. And then Jokic, obviously a franchise superstar as well. Unfortunately, he recently got hurt, but he's the 2023 Finals MVP. I think the best player in the world. And it's a shame that he's probably not going to win MVP this year because of the injuries, because we go through this so much, but like in the moment, it gets repetitive and there's voter fatigue, and it's like, all right, do I want to see this guy win another MVP award? I'm starting to like feel like I do, because I know it's kind of annoying now. I want to see a first-time MVP, right? I want to see a new champion. But in 10 years from now, you appreciate dynasties more. You appreciate like dominant MVP runs more, right? Like throughout LeBron's like career, you were probably sick and tired of hearing him in the MVP conversation, but how freaking sick would it be if LeBron had 7 MVPs? And he maybe should have 7 MVPs, right? You can make a very good argument Jokic should have 4 MVPs right now, or 5 MVPs, right? He won 21, 22, and 24, right? And then he loses 23 to Embiid. Imagine he won that one, and imagine he beat Shea last year. Imagine he won this year, and we're talking about in 10 years from now, yeah, remember that Nikola Jokic guy who had 5 MVPs? I mean, he might not win it this year, and who knows how it's going to be next year. Maybe Wemby wins it next year. Maybe he does win it next year. It's tough, though, and I think I will do, like, I did the same thing with Giannis. I wanted Giannis to win MVP every single year, because I'm like, back in 2021, when they won it all, I'm like, this guy and the Bucks are going to have a dynasty, and I'm going to look at Giannis as a top 7 player of all time. Giannis is going to be a top 20 player of all time, but he might not have the rings or the accolades to get there, at least not in Milwaukee. I'm going to do the same thing with Shea. Like, if Shea wins MVP this year, I'm like, yeah, let's see this guy win 4 MVPs. Let's see this guy win 3 rings if my Knicks aren't there. Because then I'm like, in 10, 15 years from now, I'm going to look at Shea maybe the way people look at Curry, or the way we're going to look at Curry, or the way we're going to look at Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant and those guys, right? So sometimes it's voter fatigue in the moment, but I think like the nostalgia will hit with those guys, and you'll kind of be more appreciative if they have the accolades where they can actually go up against Kareem or go up against Larry Bird and some of those guys all the time. So that was my franchise superstar tier list. I think, we have 9 guys here that I think these teams have their bona fide #1s for now and for the future. These guys I think could all be #1s with these 3 old, Kawhi and Curry is age. Giannis is contract. Mitchell is like talent and age helps, and he's like a top 15 guy in the league, but we need to see him go to the conference finals. Booker, you can put him here or you can put him here. I was kind of indifferent on Booker. TBD, I think if Şengün can not become Jokic, but become 85% of Jokic, we can, I think, get him up here. And then Cooper Flag, he's 19 years old, so it's really tough. High end number twos, I think all these guys could be a high number two in a playoff series tomorrow outside of Sar, but I do think Sar has the potential, and I feel more confident about his potential. These three, they've kind of been lumped with each other over the last year and a half now, and then need to look elsewhere: the Kings, the Nets, the Jazz, and the Bulls. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with down below. Hit a thumbs up if you did enjoy. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.